Hello and welcome, you join me, ADG, and here we are for race 8 of the MRC Mature Racing Club Gran Turismo Touring Car Championship held in the Group 4 cars. So this is the second race of the two races that are held on Friday night. Another half an hour race, and this time we are at Fuji International Speedway. So this is a reverse grid order of the finishing results from race 1. But at the same time, Mutt disconnected between the races. There's a 10-minute time period where we have a bit of a break in between the race, and Mutt disconnected, so he finds himself in pole position because he's out of the order from where he should have been because he disconnected. Anyway, we'll go through the qualifying order. So Mutt's in first place with a bit of a fortunate result. I might do that next week. Rocky Rich is in second place. Sorry, Mutt's in the Ferrari. Rocky Rich is in second in the Honda NSX. ADG123, which is me, in the Honda NSX is in third. Ginger Crackhead is in fourth in the Honda NSX as well. MRC Seawinkle is in fifth in the Honda. Has91 is in the Ferrari 458 in sixth place. Bales Tonovic is in seventh in the Nissan GTR. MRC CJW Racing in 8th place in the Honda, and Robus is in the Honda as well in 9th place, winner of race 1. So if you haven't watched race 1 as well, well worth a watch. Very good start and finish that race between the guys at the top. So without much further ado anyway, we'll get underway and let's watch this race 2. Half an hour of racing about to start. So you see Ginger Crackhead actually jumping the start a little bit there. Probably getting a little bit of a slow down penalty for that. See me taking second place off the line. Seawinkle on the outside. Rocky Rich on the inside. Bit of contact between the guys behind. It looks like Rocky Rich spins in front of everyone. And then we see Mutt just driving away there. See me in second place. Bale coming through the field, doing a really good job into third place already. Robust the Hood started right at the back in 10th place and he's already up into 4th, so really good racing from Robust the Hood, really good start. And then we've got Seawinkle, finds himself in 5th, CJW battling away in 6th, and Ginger Crackhead in 7th, so good clean start from everyone, but good close racing straight away. 3 wide as they get on the brakes into there. Bales Tonovic winning out from that one. CJW in 5th place and Seawinkle in 6th. Bale just has a bit of a moment there. I don't know if there was actually a bit of contact, but seemed like he tried to avoid contact, so lost it a little bit. And then we see who's that? We see I've lost who it is. It's CJW just going wide and driving off the track a little bit. Managed to carry on without a spin or anything, but just loses loads of time. Seawinkle gets himself up into 4th place now with a really good run on that lap. So quite a lot of action happening on lap 1 in this race. We see Ginger Crackhead coming up as well, trying to get 5th place off Bale. Down the inside on Bale. And he finds himself going wide, so does Bale. They both have a moment on the exit there. It's a tricky corner, is that first corner. Brings Ginger Crackhead, Ginger Crackhead and CJW right really close together. So CJW on the outside, brave. Very brave from him as he goes side by side with Ginger Crackhead, but then of course he finds himself with the inside line for the next corner, but then for the outside for the next one. So it's one of those tracks, left right. If you're running side by side, you have an advantage one corner, you lose it the next corner, you have an advantage again, and it goes a bit like that. Still good action going on though. You see Ginger Crackhead getting closer and closer to Bale as well. There's all sorts going on in this race. Skip up the camera as well. I always think it's important to go to these camera angles because it shows how close it all is. Bale Stanovic just having a little moment on the curb as he tried to get it turned into that corner. Ended up going a little bit deep and wide, but still manages to retain his 5th position, which is good. Good racing. He's got Ginger Crackhead side by side with him now down the straight, and he's just pulling away. So Ginger Crackhead's up into 5th. CJW in 6th now as well, gets past Bale, and CJW is looking for the outside line round T1 to get past Ginger Crackhead. That's gone for the defensive line, gets the braking, does CJW, so really good job, and gets into 5th place. Good overtake around the outside of Ginger Crackhead there. Ginger Crackhead didn't fight it too hard though at the same time, to be fair to him. Rocky Rich in 9th place at the moment, has 91 in 8th place. Bale Stanovic in 7th. Ginger Crackhead, as we've just seen, right on the back of CJW in 6th. 5th is CJW. Then we've got Seawinkle in 4th. Quite close together is Robust the Hood and me in 2nd, ADG 1, 2, 3. And then we see Mutt still in 1st place. Even though I'm going to complain about that, or we should complain about that, because they shouldn't have started in 1st place with the reverse grid from his finishing position from race 1. But because he disconnected and left the lobby and then joined it again, it's put him out of order. So he's ended up with pole position. Like I say, I might try that for next week. I think everyone will though. So good little battle going on up front, but it's there's a little bit of a gap between us guys, all sticking in each other's slipstream, but not quite closing in enough for any kind of overtakes to happen. See Robert the Hood with a good lap there. He's up on his last lap. Heading into T1, heavy braking into here. I actually outbroke myself a few times into that corner and completely ruined my race basically. I got a penalty of 4 seconds for a tiny little corner cut as well, which didn't help. My race just went from being quite good to this start period, this beginning section, to actually being terrible. So you see me actually challenging side by side, a tiny bit of contact as we rub doors, trying to get it positioned for the tight left-hander. And still manages to retain his 1st place, but I'm trying for the inside line and I've just got the position on the track to be able to drive past him. So I'm up into 1st now. Robert the Hood's watching all this go on in front of him, and he's just thinking, well, it's only a matter of time until something happens, and I managed to make a position as well. As you can see, looking back, there's a bit of a gap now. So we've got Seawinkle doing a good job in 4th place. CJW now in 5th, dropped back a little bit. Bale Stanovic in 6th, so he's making his way back up. Ginger Crackhead in 7th, has 91 in 8th, has having a good race as well. We see Bale having a massive moment, getting it all wide into there and finding himself out even over the curb and out wide. So it gives Has 91 the bumper of Bale Stanovic to slipstream, but he gets past him straight away at the start of the start-finish straight, and Has is up in 7th place. Bale with that tiny little mistake. This is the beauty of league racing. You've got to be on it to do well, because one tiny little mistake and the guy behind's past you. That's how consistent everyone is. Don't get me wrong, there's mistakes that happen, but generally speaking, everyone's pretty consistent. Anyway, I've dropped into 3rd now as a quick look down the order. So Robert the Hood's managed to get past me up into 2nd place, and now he's right on the back of Mutt, challenging away, putting that pressure on as much as he can, hoping that Mutt has some kind of incident. Quite an interesting battle as well, the Ferrari versus the Honda NSX, which we haven't seen that much of this season. It seems like there's it's been a Honda NSX heavy season, but it's good to see the Ferraris holding its own on this track. As you can see, they're nearly touching bumpers there, Robert the Hood and Mutt, as they come through that corner. And then I find a little bit of an opportunity, try and gain some kind of room, take a bit of an opposite line to Robert Sode here, trying to make sure that there's no contacts because we're running so closely together. But at the moment it's a good battle for first place. We've had a few races so far this season with Mutt where we've been battling away towards the top of the grid, and it's been really good to put a bit of pressure on each other. Mutt's got past me, I've got past him, he's held the lead, I've held the lead, and we've both, whenever that's happened, we've both kept the pressure on each other. So we see Robert Sode just getting the drive, really getting past Mutt into T1, but just doing it nice and calmly, nice and cleanly, no big issues on the brakes or anything, and just gets himself up into first place. Robert Sode, bear in mind, won the last race, so he started in 10th position at the start of this race, and now he's in first at the end of lap 6. So really good racing again, yet again, week after week from Robert Sode. See me diving down the inside a little bit on the Mutt there, and a tiny bit of contact between us. At the time I remember thinking that wasn't really my fault. I did dive down the inside, yes, granted, but Mutt should have seen it happening and give me that tiny bit of room to avoid the contact. But Mutt's perfectly capable of arguing it differently if he sees it differently. But it's not that big a deal anyway. Robert Sode holding first place nicely, and I'm trying my best to not let him go and get away with a bit of a lead. We see Mutt in third, and we'll go back down the order again. Seawinkle, he's had a really good start to this race, and he's got right onto the back of those leaders. So he's got all the opportunity there in front of him. If there's any time he can make up, he will be doing. CJW in 5th, drop back a little bit now, so crucially for Seawinkle as well. Oh, we'll skip back forward, it looks like there's a bit of an overtake. Nope, just the slipstream being broken from Roberts, taking a bit of a line to try and break the slipstream between us. See me there going completely too deep into T1. It's because I got my braking wrong and I had to try and avoid the guy in front, which is the right thing to do, I always think, but it has completely hindered my race. I'm back down into 5th position now, which isn't great, but that's my own mistake. So like I've already said earlier in race 7, I didn't have the best races this week, but there you go, you can't have it brilliant all the time. So Seawinkle's up into 3rd position now, chasing Mutt down for 2nd. But Seawinkle having a really good race this race, nice and consistent. The only American on the grid as well, so good to see that he's up there. See Ginger Kraken in front of Has 91. Seem to be struggling a little bit this race compared to what I'd expect them, whether I'd expect them to be in the grid. I feel like starting this replay again. I've made a lot of mistakes. Anyway, we'll stick with the action, even though it's the same people over and over again. But we've got Seawinkle this time on the back of Mutt. Out of lap 8 into the first corner. Let's stick with Seawinkle for a full lap. So closes right back up on Mutt, going through there. Goes to show Mutt's got a bit of a compromised line through there. Unless he just made a tiny bit of a mistake by getting too much understeer or something. Nice and calm on the brakes, as we can see. Bit of an early turn in, he almost turned in twice there, did Seawinkle, but crucially he didn't make a big mistake, even though he got his timing slightly wrong. I like analysing people's laps, but at the same time I don't like really voicing it, because I always think to myself, well, who am I? I'm not the best guy in the world, so who am I to actually analyse other people and comment on them, really? But I like to try and think, well, I like to think I do it in a positive way if I do it. So we'll watch Seawinkle again as he's challenging for second place past Mutt. Don't know why he hasn't gone to the inside there with the overspeed from the slipstream, but he's given Mutt the opportunity to keep his second place by going to the outside, which Mutt does quite nicely and calmly through the first corner. At the same time, CJW has been brought back into this race for the podium positions, as there's a bit of defending going on between the guys in front. I'm in 5th place at this time in the race. It just got worse and worse for me, and I dropped further and further back, but dropped off CJW, who's a big gap to him now. And then I've got Ginger Crackhead closing in on me. He's doing a good job and catching me up lap after lap. Has 91, not too far behind Ginger Crackhead either, but got quite a bit of work to do to get onto his bumper. And then Rocky Rich, there's only 8 people left in this race at the moment now. Bale Stonovic's actually left, so Rocky Rich is in 8th place. So even though he's at the back, it's not that bad for the points, finishing in 8th. If you think there's normally 14 people that would normally race in this league, or if not 16 at the beginning of the championship, then coming 8th isn't actually too bad. It's halfway, it's mid-pack, it's halfway down the field. So when there's a few people that drop out and a few people that don't attend one week, gives everyone the chance to make up a few more places than they might normally have done. I'm not saying that these people have to this week round, but sometimes it can work out beneficial for certain people. Just in general in league racing, I mean. Anyway, we'll skip back up front. We've got CJW right on the back of Winkle now. He's just closed in on that last lap on lap 9, and at the start of lap 10 he's incredibly close to the back of Seawinkle. So Seawinkle's feeling the pressure, that's why he's gone to the middle of the track a little bit there to defend his 3rd place. Again, he won't want to get too much understeer and go wide through here, because he knows he's just opening up the opportunity for CJW to have a chance. Same down here, just keeping it nice and tidy to make sure that the guy behind don't have a chance down the inside. As soon as you take a wide entry into one of those corners, you're just opening, well, you're openly inviting the guy behind to have a dive down the inside basically and see if he can get it done. So again, all nice and respectful and clean racing going on, nice and close, good stuff though. Race after race in League 3, it's been really entertaining stuff, and it's just full credit to every single guy that turns up week in week out and puts his heart and soul into the racing. And this is the result of it. At the end of the day, it makes for a really good replay because of the battles that go on. If we look back, we see a bit of a penalty flashing there from me, which is my 4-second penalty I picked up for a little track cut. So Mutt and Seawinkle actually had a bit of a moment there. Seawinkle's in 2nd now. Mutt's actually finding himself dropping back into 4th place after a bit of a bad corner onto the start-finish straight. The CJW holding the inside line. And CJW manages to get it done nicely on the brakes into T1. Roberts the hood up front, actually having a bit of a bad corner there and going really wide on the exit, but manages to gather it up without any massive dramas, no big spin or anything, and keeps it going in 1st place. But no doubt he's lost a little bit of time because of that. Seawinkle finding himself getting hit from CJW there, a bit of a different line from each driver, and just coming together with the different pace through that corner and mid corner. Bit of an accident, but no big drama from it again. Because there's no damage on, you can get away with this bit of contact here and there, so long as you're not hitting each other completely off track. If there was damage on, it'd be a completely different case. So that would be too much contact for a situation like that. That would be damage probably in the front and rear aero for the respective drivers. So Robert Hood not really managing to pull a lead away from Seawinkle. And Seawinkle getting really close as they take different lines into that last corner to start lap 12 in a second as they start coming towards the start finish line. So Mutt doing a good job back up into 4th position. He's done a good job to get himself back onto the guys in front in a way. He's not too far behind. Ginger Crackhead struggled a little bit this race, it seems. I hope you don't mind me saying, in 5th position. He's lost the leaders a little bit though. Has 91. Not having a bad race at the moment now. I've given a few positions away here, so Ginger Crackhead and Haz have made up a position because of me dropping back from 5th position to 7th after serving my 4-second penalty. And then Rocky Rich still driving around on his own a little bit. He had quite a good race in race 7, but driving around on his own now in 8th position in race 8 here at Fuji International Speedway. Certainly not an easy track, really easy to, it's not the hardest track of all time, but at the same time it's really easy to make a mistake on any one of these corners. Quite a lot of character to this race circuit, I always think. There's completely, well, there's like one of every kind of corner you'd expect on a racetrack in this track. There's fast corners, there's tricky corners, there's cambered corners, there's off-camber corners, and it really gets a little bit tricky from time to time, especially when you're racing closely with each other and you've got to compensate for the guy in front's braking and everything else. So anyway, although we keep focusing on the guys at the front, it's the closest action going on. So we see Seawinkle right on the back of Robert, so there's not a big gap between them now as they slipstream each other, with CJW slipstreaming Seawinkle as well down the straight. 1st, 2nd and 3rd as we look at the guys. So again, Robert Hood doing a really good job of keeping it in 1st place, but still not managing to pull much of a lead away. So seems like this is a bit of a curse of this track. You manage to get yourself into 1st place, but you can never really truly relax because pulling a lead on this track seems really difficult to do. The slipstream is quite crucial because the start finish straight is so long. So even if you pull that little bit of a gap, unless you pull enough to break the slipstream on the start finish straight, then you're always going to find yourself compromised the lap after lap. And so it's quite an interesting track in that regard as well, is Fuji. Anyway, we see MRC CJW diving to the inside of Seawinkle, getting it done nice and cleanly, and getting himself up into 2nd place there. Unfortunate for the American dropping down into 3rd there, but the race is not over. There's still 8 minutes left, roughly. This race has absolutely flown by, to be fair. I've had that much to commentate on with the racing going on that it feels like I've only been on it for about 10 minutes. So again, this is quite a big lead that Roberts has pulled out onto the start finish straight, but with the slipstream he's so aware of it as well. That's why he's weaving down the straight. He's Roberts trying to break the slipstream to the guys behind to make sure that they don't catch up again. But it's such a long straight that you just catch back up. And look, if you actually look into the braking zone and coming out of T1, the gap's reduced again, and CJW is quite close to the back of Roberts Hood now. So a good couple of corners, and CJW is right onto the back of him again. Anyway, we'll skip down the order. I don't think there's much action going on, but we'll give everyone the respect they deserve coming towards the end of the race. Just skip through and see where everyone is. Got Rocky Rich actually being lapped by everyone, so it looks like he's in front of me, but I overtake him and don't make up his position, so tells me he's already been lapped. Actually looks like he's on auto drive now as he's ghosting. Oh, we catch Haz as he has a bit of a moment, late braking, gets it too deep through the tricky right-hander, which tightens right up, and you have to get it nice and tidy through the left-hander straight after it. But just gets it a bit wrong, does Haz there, and drops back a little bit with a bit of time loss. Up front we see CJW and Seawinkle nearly side by side running into the last corner for the end of lap 14. Definitely got the slipstream as Seawinkle, there's no denying it now. Pulls out a little bit too early, and the problem being CJW actually has a slipstream on Robert's Hood in front as well, so although it's incredibly close there and you think Seawinkle would have the opportunity to overtake, it just worked out almost better for CJW with the distance slipstream of Robert's Hood. So bit of an odd one that. You'd expect Seawinkle to have got past there, or at least been side by side into T1. Not saying that he did anything wrong, it's just the effect of the slipstream. As soon as he pulled out of it, he just didn't have the speed to get past. Oh, see CJW trying to just get pulled over to the right hand side to get turned into that corner nicely, and he just gets it all wrong. Got on the curb and he's lost it. So really unfortunate there for CJW. Seawinkle is very unfortunate for. He's up into second place. CJW is now down into 5th after that little bit of an incident. So really unfortunate there. He's had a bit of a bad moment in race 7 and race 8. Still gets good results overall, but ends up just having that little bit of a moment that's too big to handle, and loses the positions as a consequence. So he'll be kicking himself as he finishes off lap 15, will CJW, after that one. Anyway, we see Ginger Crackhead and Mutt actually making an advantage of that mistake from CJW, so they're in 3rd and 4th respectively. We've got Seawinkle right on the back of Robert's Hood still, but Robert's doing enough lap after lap just to keep that lead. So good racing again. I have to say every single race more or less, and it gets a bit boring to be honest, but Robert's Hood's just that good that, and consistent these days, that he manages to keep that pace going race after race, no matter what track we visit. And again we see him in 1st place. I will just remind you, it did start right at the back in this race after the reverse grid, and they won race 1 as well. CJW had a really good race in race 1, but just lost out towards the end of the race. Nothing major that he did, but Robert Hood just managed to find the pace, and a tiny little mistake here and there managed to see him come past into 1st place. Anyway, we've got Mutt still battling away in the Ferrari, and Ginger Crackhead right behind him, trying to battle away for the last podium spot, 3rd place. Good close action still going on there. So what I love about these races, there might not be 10 cars in a row that are touching bumpers, but throughout the field there's always someone close to the bumper of someone else, and it's always good to see that the racing's that close, lap after lap. At the end of the day, these races could be completely different. It's only the fact that everyone's quite competitive and puts in a bit of practice that they can keep it as consistent as they do. Just skipping through to have a quick look. Nothing exciting going on towards the back, so in the last couple of minutes we'll focus towards the action at the front to see where people can end up finishing. We've got Haz 91 on the back of CJW now, so finds himself with a little bit of pressure from behind as well as the race comes to a close in the last couple of laps. Anyway, we've got Mutt right on the back of Ginger Crackhead. Robert Hood still doing a good job. I'll keep an eye on the position changing up front, but for the time being we'll keep an eye on Mutt and Ginger Crackhead. Seawinkle is still battling away though, putting all that pressure he can all the pressure he can do on the back of Robus. In races like this, if you can't make that overtake happen, you've just got to keep forcing the issue and trying to put the pressure on the guy in front and hope that he makes a mistake at some point. If you just genuinely can't get it done on pace and to late brake, it'd be too risky to dive down the inside with a late braking. It'd be a shame to risk it after such a good race. You've just got to hope that putting the pressure on the guy in front is enough to force a mistake and an opportunity thus in your favour. So looking back, it's groups of 2 almost at the moment. Look at Robus as he tries to defend the slipstream right down the inside, hugging the pit wall. Does enough though to keep him in first place, breaking that slipstream down the straight. Again, Ginger Crackhead finding himself under pressure from Mutt as well, and has 91 right behind CJW. So I dare say this will be the last lap we're watching now, lap 18. Got me and Rocky Rich at the back, but we're still in, because there's not many people actually in this race. We're in 8th position is Rocky Rich. I'm in 7th, ADG 123. Has 91 is in 6th. CJW in 5th. Mutt is in 4th. Ginger Crackhead is in 3rd. And we'll keep an eye on this race to the finish with Seawinkle and Robus the Hood. So yeah, it's confirmed, flashing up final lap now at the top. So again, very close racing right from start to finish in this race, and very good job, I'll say it before the end, from Robus the Hood to come right from the back to keep his first place towards the middle of the race, and just done a really good job to keep it in first place. So Robus comes over the line in first with a really good race. Seawinkle with a really good race in second, good result. Ginger Crackhead in third, good result from him. Mutt finishes in fourth with a really good race. Seawinkle, CJW in fifth, has 91, not far behind, but couldn't quite manage to get it done on the last lap. In sixth, see me, ADG 123, bringing it home in seventh, and finally in the final position in this race, 8th position, is Rocky Rich. So again, thank you very much for watching. Really good racing from everyone, and hopefully I'll see you again next week for race 9 and 10, the final races of the championship, to determine the order. I will give a little readout of the championship table as well to show where everyone's come. Anyway, thank you again for watching. I've been ADG. If you haven't already, I am disgusted at you. Hit that subscribe button, and if you've enjoyed that, hit like. And like I say, join me next week for the round 9 and 10 replays. See you again soon, hopefully, and take care. Adios.